Hello everyone, my name is Mahmoud Ismail. I'm one of the cardiology fellows at Mayo Clinic, and today I'll be talking about our research evaluating the outcomes of catheter-directed thrombolysis versus thrombectomy for submassive and massive PE in a systematic review and a meta-analysis. So just quick background, we know that the optimal therapy of submassive and massive PE remains somewhat controversial. So the goal of the study was to compare the outcomes of catheter-directed thrombolysis versus thrombectomy, either surgical or catheter-based thrombectomy in patients with submassive and massive PE in a systematic review and meta-analysis. And although there hasn't been any trial that has been published in this area, there are currently ongoing trials, including the lung embolism trial and the PERLA study, that evaluate this, and their results are currently awaited. So we searched multiple databases for studies comparing the outcomes of catheter-directed thrombolysis versus thrombectomy in patients with submassive and massive PE. And we used a random effects model to calculate risk ratios and 95% confidence intervals for our outcomes. Our outcomes of interest included in-hospital mortality, in addition to procedural complications such as major bleeding, the need for blood transfusion, stroke, atrial fibrillation, in addition to outcomes such as the hospital and ICU length of stay, 30-day readmissions, and RV to LV ratio improvement. We were able to identify 8 observational studies, including around 1,400 patients with massive and submassive PE, of whom approximately half underwent catheter-directed thrombolysis and the other half underwent thrombectomy, either with a catheter-based approach or a surgical approach. We found that those who underwent catheter-directed thrombolysis had lower in-hospital mortality compared to thrombectomy, with similar procedural complications, RV to LV ratio improvement, and similar lengths of stay and 30-day readmissions. We performed a subgroup analysis based on the thrombectomy modality performed, either catheter-based or surgical, and we found that those who underwent catheter-directed thrombolysis had similar in-hospital mortality compared to catheter-based thrombectomy, but lower in-hospital mortality compared to surgical thrombectomy. Therefore, the lower in-hospital mortality in the primary analysis comparing catheter-directed thrombolysis with overall thrombectomy is possibly mainly driven by the lower in-hospital mortality in the catheter-directed thrombolysis group compared to the surgical group. So to conclude, in patients with submassive and massive PE, catheter-directed thrombolysis was associated with similar in-hospital mortality compared to catheter-based thrombectomy, but lower in-hospital mortality compared to surgical thrombectomy. Procedural complications, length of stay, and 30-day readmissions, in addition to RV to LV ratio improvements, were all similar between catheter-directed thrombolysis and any thrombectomy. Indeed, randomized controlled trials, such as the lung embolism trial and the PERLA study, are indicated to confirm our findings. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your questions.